All right, guys, we have coming down to the end of the show, and you know what that means. It's time for us to hit that motherfucking grains of sand. Oh, what a great bumper for it, too, man. Oh, and it almost even worked correctly on OBS. Outstanding. As you know, here in Grains of Sand, we're talking about that international diplomacy and the potential for trying to keep the Cold War we currently have going with China from turning into a hot war. So let's go to the screens. China and Russia once again pledged to strengthen ties as White House announces first Putin-Biden summit. Putin-Biden? Just Putin and Biden? Just Biden and Putin.
Just new boot Putin.
Just new boot Putin. So true. But what I will say is, goddamn, you know, people were so quick to dismiss, oh, China and Russia aren't buddies. They got that. No. We told you this a long time ago when they were doing that fake-ass fucking border dispute with the Chinese. We were like, no, this is a setup. China and Russia are about to be in this together, and fucking here we are. We keep seeing it happen over and over and over again. In fact, while they both try to deal with their manifest destiny plans that they have, Chinese and Russian map makers chart post-unilateral order. Huh. Whew. That's a headline that just grabs you a bit. You know what I mean? What do you mean map makers? What do you mean by that? When you say map makers, are you talking about they're wanting to redraw their maps, and in order to do that, does that mean that they would have to manifest their fucking destiny? I don't like the idea at all, and I'm also not a big fan of this fucking picture. You'll notice Putin is looking at the hand while Xi Jinping is looking into the eyes so that he can steal the soul. Alma says, look at the author's name. This one is by Pepe Escobar. Not bad, man.
Pepe Sylvia?
That's right, man. There is no Carol in HR. But the reality is, people are finally starting to notice just a little too late. China is a present danger to Europe, and NATO's defense plans must respond. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that's what we said in the first Grains of Sand segment. This was all about NATO versus OPEC, and that's really what it all was gonna come down to. And here the fuck we are, man. You know, goddamn. They pretended for so long that it was nothing that now it's already almost too late. Is China angling for a Saudi Arabian detente? Yeah, they might be. You might remember that the Saudis have allied with the United States in recent years, but China's buddy Iran really doesn't want that to happen as they try to create a new footprint in the region. As we saw, they're talking about changing the maps out there, and who the fuck knows what that means. But I don't like the idea of them continually creeping out into the region like that to create more problems, as The fact remains that no matter how much of this shit they do, it always comes back to them trying to call out the United States. That's their whole premise behind this. Chinese state media says that their country must prepare for nuclear war with the United States after Biden asks for a COVID probe.
Wow. Doesn't sound guilty at all.
Asks. It said, hey, do you mind if we take a look? And now the Chinese government is telling their people that there's going to be nuclear war with the United States.
Jesus.
Jesus. Jack T. Rip for 15 bits says, when will world powers catch up to the intel that Gulf City has? When they got a ghost hosting their show, man. That's when. But the point is, even though the Chinese are so obviously prepping for war, we continue to try to pretend like that's not the case. And some of us out there, John Cena, excuse me, I'm sorry, just really haven't gotten with the fucking program on this shit yet, man. Meanwhile, official talks in the Department of Defense policy role in Chinese pacing threaten integrated deterrence. Basically, the Department of Defense is getting all wrapped up with them in some kind of diplomacy, hand job, circle jerk situation to keep it from going fucking nuclear. I don't love it, but I don't know enough of the details on what the DOD is doing and what other options there may be to say that this is a bad idea. What I will say is a bad idea, you know, as far as how the U.S. military is dealing with the Chinese government right now, this could be a little bit of a problem with us. Pentagon report clears use of drones made by top Chinese manufacturer.
What?
Yeah.
Guys, wrong move.
Yeah, the longer you think about it, the worse that sounds. You want to take it back a year and remember what happened with the Huawei phones that the Pentagon bought from a Chinese manufacturer.
You're
Listen
bringing
to the ghost.
God damn it.
And
Trojan
not to
horse.
mention,
Trojan horse.
I
You're
fucking
bringing
said
the
it and
damn
said it and
soldier
said it and said it.
do I need to remind you guys?
It's
the
not
hunting
even-
drone of its own volition.
It's not even that there's no precedent. There is exact precedent for this. A year ago, the Pentagon bought phones for government officials made by Chinese manufacturers, and that manufacturer, Huawei, got busted for spying on American military secrets with it. Now you're using drones, a thing made to spy? And you're saying
Pentagon.
that there's no backdoor fucking monitoring happening through the Chinese government. And I go, oh, well, wait a minute. It's just a manufacturer. No, motherfucker. No. Under the CCP, all businesses have to go through the fucking government. That means shit like us, little small business like us, this shit don't even exist in China. Because you have to get the approval of the government. So let me ask you if you think a manufacturer that makes drones that they're selling to the Pentagon has the clearance of the Chinese Communist Party. And if they do you think it's all on the up and up?
I mean, also, what's going to happen the day that it's like,
I don't understand, Major. I'm trying to use the controls, but it ain't responding.
and then
Well,
the
I'll
guy's
tell
like,
you, Private Pile.
Don't point it at us, Johnson. And he's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm not doing it, Major.
and
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not the one controlling it. Why did it just blow up that wedding? I mean...
yeah,
It's just not secure enough for military usage. It just isn't.
Why are
it
you
just
buying military
isn't.
equipment from a country saying they need to prepare for nuclear war?
Yeah, and realistically, why are you buying military equipment with U.S. tax dollars from a non-U.S. country? Can we make our own bombs, please? Can we make our own drones, please?
This is why you need to be president.
That's right. Bombs and schools, baby.
schools.
Bombs and schools. And I'll tell you, man, it's not like China isn't used to doling out military hardware whenever it comes down to it. Here goes another I told you so. China is providing Venezuela with powerful military hardware. Jesus fucking Christ. If only there was somebody that told you this was going to happen. God fucking damn it, man. And why?
I remember.
And why did I tell you this was going to happen? So that the Chinese would have a military outpost next to our fucking continent. That just puts them that much closer. I fucking told you, dude. And this is after how many times have the Iranians and Venezuelans been busted for lying about shipping manifestos, disguising their ships, trying to get away with move shit they can. They're breaking all kind of sanctions to have their deal together. And meanwhile, China's just giving them military hardware. And in exchange for what? Well, of course, Venezuela is providing fucking jet fuel and petroleum products to Iran. We've seen it. We've seen it fucking happen. Meanwhile, they're shuttling weapons to Cuba, and everybody's acting like it's no fucking big deal. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. When all of this happens and people try to assume that there's really nothing here, that maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, maybe I'm finding pieces of the puzzle that aren't fucking there, maybe I'm imagining this new axis triumvirate of issues for the United States, man. It's unfortunate, but the evidence keeps fucking piling up. Remember what I was just talking about disguising ships? Guess what happened June 1st? Iranian warship thought to be headed to Venezuela left port with 7 high-speed missile boats ahead. Really? So China is providing military hardware, and Iran is providing naval support to a country that's on the take for the CCP, that's a hell of a lot closer to the United States than anything in Asia is. And let me ask you what the range on those fucking missiles is, huh? Venezuela is at the southern tip of the Gulf of Mexico. You know what's at the northern tip of the Gulf of Mexico? Texas.
Gulf City?
Yeah, Gulf City. You goddamn right. You goddamn right. I mean, you can keep calling me a conspiracy theorist, but Jesus Christ, even the U.S. fucking military is going, we got to watch these ships. Maybe we were wrong about Iran and Venezuela. Yeah. Yeah, you were.
Maybe we should have listened to the ghost.
So if you have this obvious military connection between these countries in different parts of the world, and the leader of that new axis is calling for nuclear war, or saying to prepare for nuclear war, with the United States, and you have military all over the world, you have weapons all over the world, you have allies, you've set all the chess pieces in place to try to take out the king, which is the Stars and Stripes, baby, don't forget it.
Right.
In order to take out the king, you have to set up your pieces, and I think that they've done that. But what it's going to take is something to light that powder keg. You've got to go on the attack in order to get it started. And these days, on a worldwide scale, you can't just up and start a hot war. You get grilled on Twitter, and somehow that matters. You know what I'm saying? It would be worldwide backlash if for no reason at all the Chinese decided to start sending their Iranian-built missiles stored in Venezuela onto U.S. soil. And that's assuming people even got the connection if and when it happens. What they would really need, and this is where they learn from the United States, what they would really need to go to war would be a false flag.
Yeah.
They need something to happen in either China or Iran that they can blame on the United States and thus have a casus belli and a reason to take us into war. Right now, we've seen in the past several months some things where, like, there was nuclear sabotage in Iran, or they had ships that sank or whatever, and in all of those instances, there was immediate blame pointing because it didn't quite fit right. They didn't quite hit it on the head where they could blame the United States yet. It doesn't mean they're not trying. So as you're going to sleep tonight on American soil and thinking about missiles pointed at you from Venezuela, and that all it would take is a false flag on the part of the CCP or the Iranian Caliphate in order to start a hot war at an international level that's likely to go nuclear, let me give you this. Iran's largest warship mysteriously sinks after catching fire. And they don't know who did it. Can you guess where they can't wait to point that motherfucking blame at? Guys, here in the fucking States, we have got to put aside our bullshit and get on the same team, because I'm telling you, we are a heartbeat away from nuclear war.
I'm not a criminal. I'm an artist working in an unpopular medium. Can I just speak to you? I mean, really speak to you like man to man. I've known you for a long time, Lee. And I know about your penchant for spying on women.